Hi everyone, it's Diana here. And while I'm talking to you, we might see some other critters flying in. I seem to have several little bees around. So bees are about honey. They seem to think I might be the honey today, but bees are about the honey of life, and they're also about getting busy. So let's look at what this week's messages are and a few predictions. Welcome for those of you who come back each week. I'm so grateful for you supporting me. Thank you. And for those of you who are new, welcome. We're so glad to have you here. This is just our time together where I give you some information about what to expect in the coming week. I want to first of all tell you, as a psychic medium, I don't normally, my information just comes to me. And the night before I videotape these weekly messages, I always ask Philip, my spirit guide, feed me the information that you would like to get through. And what's interesting to me is I ask, don't wake me up normally. Well, the night before last, I did not ask, don't wake me up. I just said, give me the information because I had originally planned on taping yesterday and time got away from me. Anyway, what I asked for was for the information. So I was in a deep sleep and I felt an energy, a force, whoo, pull me out of sleep. And the words that came, Jeff Sessions indicted. Jeff Sessions indicted. Sessions, for those of you who, excuse me, I'm going to probably be asking the bees to go away while I'm talking. So if they don't, I'm brushing them off, so forgive me. It's that time of year where the little sweat bees and honeybees are about. Anyway, um, Jeff Sessions is the Attorney General here in the U.S. And he's not the most popular man on either side of the aisle. He is pretty much a well known bigot, shall I say. But he also, for some reason, got on President Trump's wrong side, and so they're going at it. That said, I found it interesting that it came up Jeff Sessions indicted. So I put that out on my Facebook page and I said, any comments? And tons of comments came back of many of you out there. You're having your own dreams of the same type of information. It may not be the same information that I'm getting, but it has to do with there's turmoil, there's something happening around the Russian investigation with interference with the 2016 election in this country and also money laundering by the Trump family, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot going on, and that energy is out there. So it would be great to hear your dreams. Just put them down in the comment section and let's get a discussion going because something is taking place. I don't know that Sessions will be indicted this week. I don't feel that, but something is going on. The energy is there, and whatever it is, it's big. Lots of people. I'm hearing from clients, I'm hearing from friends, and my Facebook friends the same thing. So, that said, I want to thank you for your prayers, your continuing prayers and healing energy, your donations, any way you can help the people in the islands, the people of the Florida Keys, the people in Mexico City, in Mexico, in Texas, the fires on the West Coast. We're just being overwhelmed right now. And last week, if you recall, my right eye kept tearing. Well, when I was pulling together those things I need to film this, to tape this, um, the right eye just kept tearing, and it's still tearing a little bit. So that tells me more tears are coming this week as well. The I it takes so long for humans to and animals and it takes so long for us to be able to recoup from this horrific weather that we're having. And, there was an earthquake off of Japan, and hopefully we've been able to tamp that down so there won't be a tsunami. Um, when before Irma or Hurricane Irma, I kept seeing a path all the way up the east coast of the U.S., and I think I did say that the whole East Coast is vulnerable. I'm still seeing vulnerability on that East Coast, and of course the North is the Northeast Coast is vulnerable. The world right now, wherever we are in the world, there's we forget the world, we forget our Earth is a living, breathing organism, just as we are, and we influence what's going on in the Earth, and the Earth has to cleanse herself of all of our negative energy, of all of that anger and that fear and that hate that is rampant in the world right now. Um, and of course, I'm coming from the perspective of the U.S. I'm here in America, and I am seeing so much anger and hate and bigotry. It's heartbreaking. What I do see, though, is when we have these major horrific storms or wildfires or whatever the natural disaster is, I then see people coming together and helping each other, regardless of a person's color of a person's skin, regardless of a person's religion. People are coming together. And that's the upside of all these horrific natural disasters. The downside, of course, is we're having loss of life, loss of property, loss of humanity, um, human dignity, but at the same time, that humanity and human dignity is coming back. Excuse me, just one moment. That right side of my face, and I dropped my tissue on the ground, and I just needed to pick it up for a moment because that right side of my face is still tearing. Um, and those tears are for the people, for the animals, for all the horrific events that are going on in our world. And that's going to, I guess, continue this week, unfortunately. So, sorry. We've got turmoil in the White House, which does affect the rest of the world, not just this country. We've got major storms. There might be a little bit of a lull, but it may just be the damage I'm seeing, but I also am seeing more storms coming out here, and there's like a fire, um, and I'm also seeing lava spilling. It looks like lava. It's something spilling out of, it may be an active volcano, or it may just be like an avalanche coming down. I'm seeing high waves moving into the land. So that said, what we must find, each of us must find this week, is balance. We must find that balance that allows us to continue to reach out, to continue to help others, to continue holding our elected officials responsible and accountable for their actions and their words. We must, you know, we can love a toddler or a teenager. We don't stop loving them, but we hold them accountable for their actions. It's the same thing that we must do with our elected officials, those in power places. We must hold them accountable for any inhumanity they are showing. And this is the week that we really need to speak up. We just had fall equinox, and I hope you had a chance to listen to my video about balancing there. If not, please go back and listen to it. I won't duplicate here, but it shows you those ways of balancing. I also want to say, you know, you can see behind me that the leaves have fallen onto the ground, several of them already. Um, and as the fall leaves come down in this hemisphere, that is really the time to think about, I'm just going to shed those things that no longer work in my life. And if you're in the southern hemisphere, you can do the same thing, because you're thinking of, what do I want to bring into my life? What is the newness I want to bring in? Those of us who experience the different four seasons here, we get the opportunity of actually watching those leaves fall, and so we can have that visualization of, what am I letting go of? What do I need to shed in order for my life to be kinder and gentler and more giving in the world? What do I need to do with that balance, with the equality of the moon and the sun with the fall equinox? What do I need to do to balance my own life? So this week we have a balance is going to be very important. And I want to remind you that life is not a sprint, it is a marathon. So, whatever it is that you're doing or trying to do, whatever goodness you're adding to the world, do keep doing that. But remember, it's a marathon. Now, that said, let's see what message we have for Philip, or from Philip. This is from my book, The Master's Book of Answers by Philip, who is my spirit guide. And each page has a different message on it, so we have to think left page or right page. And then I just flip through until I hear stop, or my thumb stops for me, and that will be our message. So get your messages ready, left page or right page. I have to also tell you, before we flip through the pages, where I am, and fall has already started, autumn has already started, but we have 90-degree weather today. Um, I'm sitting in the shade. Fortunately, you can see the sun that goes in and out while we're talking. But 90-degree weather in this part of the U.S. is most unusual for this time of the year. We may have some warm weather, but this is more weather like we would see in August rather than in this late in September. So the weather patterns all over the world are a little unique, shall we say. They're very different from what we're used to. All right, let's get our message. Left or right? Are you thinking? Okay, here we go. We're we're getting something way in the back here. And what I'm getting is the left. So what the left is, if you can see the darkness, you can also see the light. Oh, I love that. If you can see the darkness, you can also see the light. So, my friends, when we think about all of the horrific storms going on, and for those of you who are caught in these storms, please accept our deepest, knowing our hearts are with you, knowing our love is with you. We're not going through it, of course. Those of us who are in those areas where we have steady weather, we need to hold that steadiness for those areas that don't. Do go back and look at my video, Hazel's Angels. Uh, we need to keep Hazel's Angels busy for a while here. So if you can see the darkness, you can also see the light. We need to keep looking for and at the light. Remember, even when the sky is as dark as it can get, usually that's when the stars are the brightest. So look for those kindnesses that are happening around you. Look for the kindnesses that are happening even in the middle of the storm. Tell those stories. Those are the beautiful stories to tell. Pass those along. Look for the kindnesses that you give and also receive in your own life. That's the balance I'm talking about. That's the balance that we need to find. You know, the pendulum always swings way out here and then way back here before it finally settles down. We need some settling right now. I don't know that we're going to get it in our world, so let's add it in our lives, and that spreads out into our world. So right now, what we really want to say to you is, we love you. We want you to have kindness in your world. And the best way to get that is for each of us, you and me, to add love, to add kindness into our own individual worlds, and then let that spread out into the greater world. Thank you, my friends, for being with me today. I'm so grateful you joined me. I love you. Thank you for accepting the love that I send to you. Thank you for loving me back. Thank you for telling your friends about these weekly videos. Thank you for all the love you add to the world. Thank you for shedding that which you no longer need in your life. That's the physical things as well as the emotional things. This week is a good time to do that. And thank you for putting as much balance in your life this week as you can. Don't let yourselves burn out. I love you.